Tariffs are taxes imposed on imported goods. Governments use tariffs to protect domestic industries from foreign competition. The idea is to make imported products more expensive, encouraging consumers to buy American-made goods. However, this protectionist approach often backfires, harming the very economy it aims to help. Tariffs disrupt the free flow of goods and services across borders. They interfere with the principles of comparative advantage, where nations specialize in producing what they are most efficient at, leading to mutual benefits from trade. When tariffs artificially inflate prices, consumers bear the brunt of the cost. Tariffs may seem like a quick fix to protect domestic jobs in specific industries. However, this protection comes at a cost. When industries are shielded from competition, they have less incentive to innovate and become more efficient. This lack of competition can lead to higher prices and lower quality goods for consumers. Moreover, tariffs can hurt other industries in the domestic economy. For example, a tariff on steel imports may benefit domestic steel producers, but increase costs for auto manufacturers who use steel as an input. This ripple effect can harm job creation and overall economic growth. The most direct impact of tariffs on American consumers is higher prices. When tariffs are imposed on imported goods, those higher costs are passed on to businesses and ultimately to consumers. This price hike reduces consumers' purchasing power, leaving them with less money to spend on other goods and services. Furthermore, tariffs can limit the variety and availability of products in the market. With fewer imported goods available, consumers may face a reduced selection and limited access to specialized products from other countries. This reduction in choices can stifle innovation and limit consumer options. Tariffs often provoke retaliatory measures from other countries. When one country imposes tariffs on another, the targeted country is likely to respond with tariffs of their own on the first country's exports. This back-and-forth escalation can lead to a trade war, where both sides engage in a tit-for-tat exchange of tariffs, harming businesses and consumers in both countries. Trade wars disrupt global supply chains, create uncertainty in the market, and harm economic growth. They can also damage diplomatic relations between countries, making it harder to cooperate on other important issues. Section 5. The Trade Deficit Myth. Some argue that tariffs are necessary to reduce trade deficits, which occur when a country imports more than it exports. However, the trade deficit is a complex issue, and tariffs are not an effective solution. In fact, focusing solely on reducing the trade deficit can be misleading and even harmful to the economy. A trade deficit is not inherently bad. It simply reflects that a country is investing more than it is saving. This investment can lead to economic growth and job creation in the long run. Additionally, attempts to artificially reduce the trade deficit through tariffs can backfire, leading to higher prices for consumers and retaliation from trading partners. Section 6. Wealthy nations and trade balances. It's important to note that many wealthy countries, including the United States, have historically run trade deficits. This is because as countries become wealthier, their citizens tend to consume more, including goods and services from other countries. This increased consumption can lead to a trade deficit, even if the country is economically strong overall. For example, the United States has run a trade deficit for several decades, yet it remains the world's largest economy. This is because the U.S. attracts significant foreign investment, which helps to finance its consumption and investment. Attempting to eliminate the trade deficit through tariffs could harm this investment and ultimately hurt the economy. Section 7. The dollar's strength undermined. The strength of the U.S. dollar in the global market can be negatively impacted by tariffs. When a country imposes tariffs, it can create uncertainty and reduce demand for its currency. This is because tariffs can make a country's exports less competitive, leading to a decrease in demand for its currency to purchase those goods. A weaker dollar can have both positive and negative effects. On the one hand, it can make American exports more affordable for buyers in other countries, potentially boosting exports. On the other hand, a weaker dollar makes imported goods more expensive for American consumers, potentially leading to inflation. Section 8. Global influence erosion. The United States has long been a champion of free trade and open markets. However, imposing tariffs undermines this position and weakens America's global standing. When the US resorts to protectionist measures, it sets a negative example for other countries, potentially encouraging them to adopt similar policies. This can lead to a decline in global trade and cooperation, as countries become more focused on protecting their own interests rather than working together to promote economic growth. A decline in global trade can hurt the US economy, as it limits opportunities for American businesses to export their goods and services to the rest of the world. Section 9. A pathway to prosperity, not protectionism. Instead of resorting to tariffs, the United States should focus on policies that promote free trade, open markets, and a level playing field for American businesses. This includes negotiating fair trade agreements, investing in education and worker training, and promoting innovation and competition. By embracing these principles, the United States can strengthen its economy, create jobs, and maintain its position as a global economic leader. Tariffs may seem like a quick fix, but they ultimately harm the American economy and undermine its global standing.